She thought she could hide her cheating. But I made sure everyone, including her parents, saw the truth. I never thought I'd be the kind of guy to snoop through my wife's phone. I believed in trust, in giving each other space. After all, that's what a strong marriage was built on, right? But sometimes, trust is a fool's game when the person you love is hiding something. It all started with the change in her behavior. At first, it was small things. She started coming home later from work, saying she was staying late to finish a project. She used to text me constantly throughout the day, little check-ins, silly memes. But suddenly, those messages stopped. I chalked it up to stress at first, but then came the real red flags. She started guarding her phone like it held state secrets. The woman who once left her phone lying around the house now kept it glued to her hand. If I walked into the room while she was texting, she'd quickly lock her screen and shove the phone into her pocket. One night, she fell asleep on the couch, phone loosely gripped in her hand. I wasn't even planning to check her phone. But then a message popped up on the lock screen. "I miss you, babe. Last night was amazing." My stomach dropped. The sender's name was just a single letter. J. I felt a rush of emotions, confusion, rage, disbelief. My hands were shaking as I picked up her phone. I had to know the truth. The phone was locked, but I knew her passcode. My heart pounded as I entered it. And then, there it was. An entire thread of messages between my wife and this J. Messages that made my blood boil. "I can't wait to see you again. He has no idea, and I feel so alive with you. You make me feel things he never could. I wish I could stay with you forever. Next time, let's book a hotel for the whole night. I don't want to leave your arms so soon." I felt like my entire world was crashing down around me. This wasn't just a harmless flirtation. This was a full-blown affair. And she had no idea that I had just uncovered her dirty little secret. I sat there in stunned silence, rereading every text, every emoji, every stolen moment they had shared. My wife, the woman I had promised my life to, was living a double life behind my back. I could feel my hands clenching into fists. I wanted to scream, to wake her up and confront her right then and there. But I held myself back. No, that would be too easy for her. She didn't deserve an easy way out. I wasn't just going to confront her. I was going to make sure everyone knew exactly who she really was. I barely slept that night. I sat there, staring at my wife, my cheating wife, peacefully asleep on the couch, completely unaware that her world was about to crumble. Anger boiled inside me, but I wasn't going to let my emotions take control. No, this needed to be handled smartly. If I confronted her now, she'd just lie, make excuses, maybe even try to gaslight me. I needed undeniable proof, and more importantly, I needed to make sure she faced real consequences. So, I took screenshots of everything. Every disgusting message, every plan they made to meet up. I even found a few explicit pictures she had sent to J. My hands were shaking, but I kept going, making sure to back up every single piece of evidence. The next morning, I acted normal. She woke up, stretched, and gave me a tired smile. "Morning, babe," she mumbled, completely unaware of what I knew. I forced a smile. "Morning. You must have been exhausted last night," she chuckled. "Yeah, work has been crazy." Work. Right. That's what she was calling it. I played along, pretending everything was fine. If I showed even a hint of suspicion, she might start covering her tracks. And I needed time to put my plan into action. That afternoon, while she was at work, I did some digging. I found out who Jay was. His name was Jason, and to make things worse, he was married too. I found his wife's Facebook profile. She looked happy, oblivious, just like I had been. That's when I knew exactly what I needed to do. This wasn't just going to be a private confrontation. No, my wife had disrespected me in the worst way possible, and I was going to expose her for the liar she was. First, I forwarded all the evidence to my email, ensuring I had multiple copies. Then, I crafted an email to her parents. Subject: "You deserve to know the truth about your daughter. Dear Mr. Wilson, I never thought I'd have to send an email like this, but I can't stay silent. I wanted you to know the truth about what wife's name has been doing behind my back. I've attached screenshots of messages between her and another man. She's been lying, sneaking around, and betraying me in ways I never imagined. I thought you deserved to know the kind of person she's become. Sincerely, John. After that, I crafted a similar message for Jason's wife. I wasn't going to let him get away with this either. With everything prepared, I waited. That night, I'd expose it all. I wasn't just going to confront her. I was going to ruin the perfect little world she thought she could keep hidden. The next evening, I sat at the dinner table, watching my wife act like nothing was wrong. She laughed at her phone, probably texting Jason, while I pretended to scroll through mine. Little did she know, the emails were scheduled to send in just a few minutes. I decided to start the confrontation myself. So, how was work today? I asked, keeping my tone casual. She didn't even look up. Oh, same old. Meetings, deadlines, stress. You know how it is. I smirked. Yeah? You didn't happen to, I don't know, meet anyone special today? That made her pause. Her fingers stiffened around her fork. What do you mean? I pulled out my phone, unlocked it, and slowly slid it across the table. Go ahead, take a look. She frowned, clearly confused, until her eyes landed on the screen. Her face drained of color as she saw the screenshots of her texts with Jason staring back at her. Every message, every secret rendezvous, every lie she had fed me, it was all there. Her hand trembled as she put the phone down. I can explain. I leaned back in my chair. Explain? Oh, please. I'd love to hear how sneaking around behind my back, calling another man, babe, and sending him pictures is just a big misunderstanding. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Her eyes darted to her phone as if she was debating calling someone, probably Jason. But before she could say anything else, my phone vibrated. It was a new email notification. Right on schedule. She didn't know it yet, but her parents and Jason's wife had just received every single screenshot. And then, as if on cue, her phone started blowing up. Her mom was calling. Her dad was calling. Even her brother, who never usually called, was trying to reach her. She looked at me in horror. What did you do? I shrugged. I just made sure the people who matter knew the truth. You see, I wasn't going to let you keep lying to everyone, pretending to be the perfect wife while sneaking off to be with him. Her breathing became erratic as she grabbed her phone, scrolling frantically through the notifications. Then she gasped. I can't believe you did this, she whispered. You sent them to my parents? I raised an eyebrow. Did you think I'd just let you get away with this? Did you think I'd quietly accept being disrespected like this? Tears welled up in her eyes. They'll never forgive me. Good, I said coldly. Maybe you should have thought about that before you cheated. Before she could respond, the house phone rang. We never used it, which meant only one thing, it was serious. She hesitated before picking it up. Hello? Even though I could only hear muffled yelling from the other end, I knew exactly who it was, her mother. And she was furious. My wife flinched, tears spilling down her cheeks as she tried to stammer out some excuse. But there was no excuse that could erase the proof. And I wasn't done yet. I stood up, looking down at her as she cried into the phone. You should also check your texts. Jason's wife knows everything now, too. Her head snapped up, eyes wide in horror. No, she fumbled with her phone, but there was no undoing it. The damage was done. I turned to leave, but before I walked out, I gave her one final parting gift. I hope it was worth it, I said. Because now, everyone knows who you really are. And with that, I walked away as her world crumbled around her. I sat in my car, gripping the steering wheel, listening to the chaos unfolding inside the house. My wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, was sobbing into the phone, trying desperately to salvage the relationships she had just destroyed. It was too late. My phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. I opened it. Jason's wife. Thank you for telling me. I had no idea. He's out of my house. I hope you do the same. I smirked. At least someone else wouldn't have to live in ignorance anymore. A few minutes later, my wife came stumbling out of the house, phone in hand, face streaked with tears. Please, she sobbed, we can fix this. I made a mistake, but we can work through it. I stared at her, unimpressed. You didn't make a mistake. You made a choice. Over and over again. She fell to her knees, hands clasped together. I'll block him. I'll do anything. Please don't leave me. I let out a bitter laugh. You didn't seem too concerned about losing me when you were sneaking around behind my back. Her phone rang again. Her dad. She looked at the screen in terror but didn't answer. Instead, she turned back to me. I love you. I swear, I do. I shook my head. No, you loved the comfort of our marriage while chasing after someone else. But you don't get both. Her face twisted in panic. What am I supposed to do? I opened my car door, stepped inside, and looked at her one last time. Figure it out, just like I have to. And with that, I drove off, leaving her to face the consequences of her actions. Now, I ask you, do you think I went too far? Or did my wife deserve to be exposed for what she did? Let me know in the comments.